today I have finished painting up my Black Cobra gang for Street Wars NYC, put out by Funky Skulls Games. And today on our Paint With Us, we'll discuss how I painted Shogun, the leader of my gang. Alright, to get this model tabletop ready, I started off, primed it Macrage Blue from Games Workshop. That's because I primed the whole gang Macrage Blue because their uniforms are blue. Now, I then painted his skin, was Army Painter's Fur Brown. Then washed the model with Games Workshop's Nuln Oil. And I highlighted the skin again with Fur Brown. The hair is actually, the hair and the shoes are Vallejo's Glossy Black. The white parts of the van is, to cover up the black, was Ash Gray, followed by Pallid Witch Flesh, and also the little circle you see on his chest there is also highlighted Pallid Flesh. To do the pants and the leopard belt, covered it up the blue with Army Painter's Ash Gray, and then I used Games Workshop's Ural Yellow. And then the lines that you see on the pants are Crystal Blue, and I carried that up to highlighting the top part of his uniform with Crystal Blue. The leopard belt is, took the yellow, the Ural Yellow, and washed it with Seraphim Sepia. And then I added the little animal camouflage with Abaddon Black. His gauntlets are the glossy black, but with the studs highlighted in Army Painter's Shining Silver. And then some standard Mechanicus gray, both the hair, which is the glossy black, and that punched it up with a little Mechanicus gray. The base here, to get that asphalt look, that was Games Workshop's Sterling Mud, covered over with Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then a glaze of Abaddon Black. And the 28mm base ring, that is once again the glossy black to give it that nice finish. Alright, let's go through step by step how I painted this model. To get started, you can see I primed him Macrage Blue, and that's because a large part of his uniform is blue. Now I'm going to do the skin tones, so I'm going to take some Army Painter Fur Brown. Then I'm going to put it over the exposed skin. Don't have to worry about being neat at this stage. Now I'm going to put on some glossy black. We're going to use that on a couple different areas. So according to the card artwork, his shoes are black. I'm going to put some on his shoes. I'm going to put some for his hair also. And I'm going to put some on his gauntlet. I want to be a little more careful now not to touch the skin color. Now we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to put a little layer of wash just on the top part of the body, pretty much where the skin and what's going to be the blue part of his uniform. So Now I want to put some texturing on the base here. For that, I'm going to use Sterling mud. And what I want to do is I want to replicate the texture of asphalt. So I'm going to use a small portion of my little spreading tool and just put a light rippling coat. Put a little glob here, push it around. And then once we're finished putting this on, we're going to have to let it dry for quite a bit for the next stage. Be careful pushing it up against the shoes. Don't want to get too much on the shoes. Don't want to make it look like he's sinking into the asphalt. Next we're going to work on his pants and his little belt. See, that's a dark blue and we want to eventually bring it to a brighter yellow. So I'm going to use some ash gray. The reason for that is to give something for the yellow to rest on. So I'll just put a little coat of ash gray down. The part we also want to do is he's wearing Vans, so I'm going to get the shoe black. I'm going to do the sole. This is actually, the lines are actually sculpted into the model, so just follow along. So now that the white on the pants is dried, I want to start working on the base. I'm going to take some Mechanicus Standard Gray. I'm going to start putting it on everything that's brown. This will be the start of our asphalt. Now I'm going to take some Ural Yellow and I'm going to paint his pants and belt. I'm just going to take a brush I've beaten up in the past, but it has a nice square shape to the tip, and just apply this on. Alright, while we wait for the yellow to dry, I'm going to go back with some fur brown. I only need a drop of fur brown here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight his skin a little bit. We started with this, and what I'm going to do is take like a piece of his collarbone and his pec there. Just put a little line. And get some dimensionality to his muscle features there. So we'll find the different muscle groups and we'll just run a line of fur brown down them. Alright, now we're going to go to some crystal blue, and we're going to use this for two areas. We're going to highlight top here, just the raised edges. That'll make his blue pop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work on putting in the blue stripes. Let me get this out of the case so I can feel closer to the model. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dot the start point right there, and I want another start point right there. Then I'm going to imagine, okay, the stripe's going to go down here, curve, so I'll mark the end point right there. So this, when I'm drawing the line, it'll give me where I need to be. So imagine I go down right there. Get some more paint on here. So I'm going to load my brush up with paint, and very slowly I'm going to post my pinky there, and it'll steady my hand. And I'm just going to start rough. You roughen the line. Nice smooth motions. There, get the line roughed in. And I'm going to start on this one. There. So now I got the first two lines roughed out, and they're symmetrical. See, let me moisten up my brush and get a big dollop of paint. Now what I want to do is turn them like that, and we'll start putting in the thicker final line. And just gently, so I post my pinky and I just slowly pull my hand back. And that way I can create a one smooth motion, a little line. Alright, there's our two first lines. What we're going to go around and do is mark off where we want the other lines in his pants to be. But while we're at it, let's get some of this raised surface here. See that? So while we're at it, we'll get some of this raised surface here. So let me mark, I want a line right there. See, when I do these, I mark them mirror images. So this is going to be at the midway point. If you imagine it will come down, far out there, right there. Alright, we'll go around and finish up these lines. Now what we're going to do is there's these little metal studs there, and we're going to just take some Army Painter Shiny Silver, and we're just going to put the tip of our brush, need to get some of this off, and we'll just go kind of like a dry brush with the edge of your pointy brush. Just highlight those up a little bit. If you've got a steadier hand than mine, you could probably just touch each stud on his bracelets, but I'm not that good. See, now they're coming up. Just want one smoother action. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some standard Mechanicus gray again, and I'm going to take a brush I've beaten up in the past, put some paint on it, and I'll then, on a sheet of paper you can't see off camera, I'm going to just kind of lightly dry brush the hair there. Just want to make some of the excellent sculpting hair pop up. Where that will also work, add a little bit of character to the gauntlets. Go next to the silver. Now what I want to do is take some Pallid Witch Flesh, the white, and I'm going to take a really fine tip brush here. And you see he's got these little circles on his chest. I'm just going to run the side of the brush along there. Now I want to work on his little cheetah belt. Now it's the same yellow as his pants, and that's just the wrong tint for it. So I'm going to take some Seraphim Sepia to brown wash, and using my fine brush, just apply the wash to the cheetah belt. Move the brush slowly. So that changes the tone of the cheetah off the pants, so it makes it look different. And we're going to wait for that to dry. I mixed up some Abaddon black in the bowl here, and I added a lot of water. And what this does is turn it into a glaze. So you take some water on your tool, mix it in there till you get the right consistency. And the way you can tell if you have the right consistency is take this side of the tool, pull it up the wall, and see how viscous the flow is. And you can get this to whatever you want. So maybe a touch more. Oop. Okay. Then I'm going to take my brush here. And I want to very gently, I'm using a fine tip brush, which I normally don't, because I painted his Vans white there, as we remember. So I'm going to very carefully place the glaze around his shoes. See, what happens is sometimes if it's too thick, I might use the capillary action to go up and pool on the white. So we want to make sure to just gently push it where we want it. Now that we got the glaze on the asphalt, that's pretty much where it's going to stay. And it's going to dry. So what this will do is this will take the Mechanicus gray. The glaze will stick to all the gray, but it will prefer to run down to the lowered surfaces. So this will give that look of asphalt, which is kind of uniform in color, but not perfectly uniform. It's got wear and tear on the road surface. So the next step will be to do the little cheetah colors. So I'm going to take my glaze, my very fine tip brush, and I'm going to make the little cheetah seeds. That's its camouflage pattern. And you can make them really faint. This will just add a slight bit of texturing over the yellow. When you actually get pretty far away from cheetah hide, it's not a solid black. See, that's doing just fine there. If you want to sit down with a really fine brush and just do the proper black and white camo pattern, feel free. I am not. Alright, happy with that. And for the final step, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our Vallejo Glossy Black here. Just get a couple drops of that. And I'm going to take my big, large dry brush from GW. I'm just going to get in there, and I'm going to make this ring a shiny black. I'm going to apply it in this big, smooth strokes. So it creates a nice glossy finish. Alright. Alright, there's Shogun. We're ready for action. Don't know if I'll put the decal on the back. That decal's kind of a pain on this rippled of a surface, so I'll have to decide what I want to do with that. But there's Shogun. Thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.